Hi, Patrick. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm doing just fine. Hey, listen, when did we start planning for this do-it-yourself fair?
I think probably in August.
August 2012, right. We started talking about having a fair at the Martin Luther King Library in downtown DC, and that it would be really interesting and useful to try and do it in the fall, to bring together lots of different stakeholders who are interested in creativity and invention, entrepreneurship, and adaptive technology. You work in which division of the library?
The Adaptive Services Division of the DC Public Library, and we're located on the second floor of the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Library, which is our central branch, 9th and G Street.
Good. And the purpose of your division is?
To serve people with disabilities, we provide adaptive technologies and audio books and a number of other services to make sure that the library is accessible to everyone.
Right. And this do-it-yourself fair that you and I are planning, it's an outgrowth of the DC Accessibility Camp, right? That's been going on for a couple of years.
That's right. This just had our fourth annual accessibility camp, which is an opportunity for the web accessibility community to get together and share information.
Right. And about 100 people showed up. I was there. It was real exciting. Uh, um, it was an unconference, meant that it was very spontaneous and lots of interesting information sharing. Patrick, describe for the viewers here what's the venue like for this event, the Great Hall.
Right. We'll be holding this event on Saturday, November 17th and Sunday, November 18th in the Great Hall of the Martin Luther King Library. The hours are going to be 10 o'clock to 3 on Saturday and 1:30 to 4:30 on Sunday. The Great Hall is basically at the center of the library. It's two tall stories high, and it would probably hold about 800 people if you packed people in. But it's basically the center of the library. Right as you come in the front door, it's the giant room in front of you, on G Street.
Right. And this particular library is pretty accessible to public transit, right?
Right. Any metro line that you're on, you can get within a block and a half of the library. The 11th Street exit of Metro Center is a block and a half from us, and the 9th Street exit of the Gallery Place Chinatown Metro stop is right across the street from us.
Right. So, talk. What's the purpose of this the event?
Well, we want to celebrate creativity, of the creativity of people with and without disabilities. So that means cool technologies like 3D printing and robotics. It means sewing and handcrafted goods, anything that people make. This is a maker community event. So, especially in the disability community, but it's open to everybody.
Right. Now, this event is following up on DC Week. What's DC Week about?
Well, DC Week is an opportunity for the developer community in DC to get together with the government and nonprofit, or people who need things to be built for them. And the developer community gets together and tries to see what they can build in the city. We are participating we had a computer programming class for kids with disabilities last Saturday. We'll be building up to an accessibility hackathon this coming Saturday, November 10th. So
Right.
yeah, and the DC Week is another annual event, happens at the beginning of November every year.
Right. Now, by developers, I think you're describing software programmers, right?
Mostly, yeah. When we say developers, the people who build things,
Right.
people who make things. The Maker Faire is a much more generalized version
Right.
of this kind of a thing.
Right. Good. Good. Um, when I attended that accessibility camp, one of the talks that I was at was from United Cerebral Palsy. How are those folks interested in this topic?
Well, the Life Labs at United cerebral palsy is dedicated to creating accessible makerspace that comes up with accessibility solutions. So that will be a way to carry this energy on further than just this fall, when a lot of our programs this fall are dedicated to getting the makers together with the people who have needs or requirements. And the maker space that the UCP establishes will be a place to take our ideas and to build them. We're going to have a monthly meetup that includes UCP and the library, and we'll have it at the library every month. And some of the ideas that get generated there can then get built in the makerspace that will have things like 3D printers and more complex technologies.
That is so exciting. And I remember them explaining that they're not sure if they're going to have their own makerspace or if they're going to participate in an existing makerspace.
Yes, and they're still looking for a location. They started on K Street but found it a little bit expensive, so they're interested in finding a space.
Right. Well, there's an opportunity for some kind of sponsor out there. You heard that news about George Lucas, right? He's pledged that he's going to be taking the $4 billion that he gets from the sale of his company and devoting that to education. Good for him.
Wow.
Yeah, that he's selling it to Disney. George Lucas is selling to Disney just in the past week, and so that's really wonderful news. And hopefully that money can go to some of these exciting developments in the do-it-yourself and maker movement. Um, um, I wanted to. I wanted you to tell me a little bit. You had some contacts with some folks at Google. Was it Vintsurf over there that you had some contacts with?
Yeah, the Federal Communications Commission held an open meeting at the Martin Luther King Library a year or two back and invited a number of folks in the disability community to come and talk about accessible services, and especially broadband. This is at the beginning of their broadband push. They were open the forum to people from the community to suggest solutions. And so after the forum, we invited people to come upstairs and see one of our solutions, which is the Adaptive Services Division. And Vint Cerf, as well as a couple of other folks, Greg Vonderheiden, I think, from the Trace Center, and a few other folks came up to visit the division, and were really excited by what they saw. I think Vint Cerf is hard of hearing himself, has an interest in the disability community, right. And he gave us a lot of great suggestions and chatted for a while with us. And then I've communicated with him on a couple of occasions since then. So we would love to have input from the big companies. So now that we have our registration site up at Eventbrite, I'm going to be sending that out to him and a couple other folks in the local community.
Right. And for those who might not know, Vint Cerf is somewhat of a legend in the computer field, the co-inventor of TCP/IP, which is the language of the internet. He did that work in the early 1970s and is currently a vice president at Google. Do you know who I would like to invite? And they might be able to come or maybe not, but the Koshland Science Museum. It's, I think, just a couple of blocks away from the library, MLK Library. And we're going to be having the Fab Lab folks come over, and the DC Kids and Technology Meetup that my friend Yusuf Abdi and I started a year or two ago. We're going to have some kids there who are really good at Scratch programming. These are elementary school kids, and they'll be able to show or explain some Scratch stuff. They're also really good at Minecraft. That's the 3D building web environment that is popular with certain kids. And the event really is open for anybody who is inventive to come and show anything of interest. I think I'm going to be setting up a Linux station with something called multi-seat Fedora Fedora 17. It's free software, and it allows multiple keyboards and monitors all to be connected to one computer. Um, it's a way of one computer sharing its computing resources. It could be pretty helpful for certain libraries, cyber cafes, even in people's homes. I set up my own multi-seat on an old Dell Dimension 3000. It wasn't even a very powerful computer, and three people could use it at the same time. It was pretty exciting to see it.
We also have, I think, DC Robots in DC was interested in having a display. Also, from our computer programming class last Saturday, we had one of the kids who was interested in showing his art. He's an artist who's displayed his works. He has low vision, and he's displayed his paintings at the library before. He'd be interested in doing that, as well as we have a snap circuits board, breadboard that allows people to put snap circuits together. And we're going to be working with HackDC to make that snap circuits accessible to everybody, meaning make it not color-coded, make it large print, and simplifying the directions. So, and we had one person who was interested in doing all of that at a couple of tables. So
That's neat. And for those who don't know, HackDC is a makerspace here in DC in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. They've been working on a couple of pretty exciting different projects. The one that really engages me a lot is their mesh network that has been bringing Wi-Fi throughout the neighborhood to folks who might not have internet access. That's some very, very interesting things happening there. So we're hoping that anybody who sees this video who lives here in the DC area might be able to stop by either Saturday or Sunday, or maybe both days. I'll be there both days. And this is, we're hoping, the first of several gatherings, annual gatherings, that might encompass more than the DC library. We might have other library systems come on board. We got great bandwidth at this library. Last time I measured it, it was 20 megabits per second upstream Wi-Fi. So the bandwidth is pretty good. And that would allow us to do some kind of hangouts between libraries and other entities besides libraries, museums, schools, community centers. We got to get a lot of more people on board in this do-it-yourself movement. I've always felt that you can never do it yourself unless you have the help of a community. So Patrick, anything else you wanted to share about this? Oh, you know what? I'm real interested to hear more about the work that you do at the Adaptive Services Division. Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Adaptive Services consists of 4 different services. The Adaptive Technology Program, which is what I do, we provide technologies so that people can get access to the library services. There's also a librarian for the deaf and hard of hearing community, Janice Rosen, and we have a service to at-home readers, and probably the most fundamental service that we provide is audiobooks. We are a regional library of the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped. We send audiobooks to people's homes and provide them with the digital talking book player and the cassette player so that they can read those audiobooks, and we provide Braille as well. So those are our 4 services. The Adaptive Technology Program, which I run, provides technologies. We also do training. Chris Corrigan is our adaptive technology trainer, has an online curriculum, and he teaches in-house classes on a daily basis. And then I organize events like the one that we are doing together, as well as we have a bi-weekly Saturday technology training session, a Tech Talk Tuesdays where people can learn iOS accessibility and hopefully now Android, which is becoming accessible as well to people who are blind or have low vision. And we have a game night. We have all sorts of other sign language story hour, free American Sign Language classes, a sensory story time. We've got Talking Book Club. Those are some of our programs that we have at the library.
That sounds pretty extensive. And you just recently added your accessible games section.
That's right. We're working with Mark Barley from Able Gamers, and he provided us with the first accessibility arcade, permanent accessibility arcade at the Martin Luther King Library. We're really excited about it. We've got Connect, two Xboxes, an Alienware, and a number of iPads that configurable iPads. We've got a Makey Makey. We're excited to invite people into our new accessible arcade and watch what they come up with, because the most important thing is that people come up with their own adaptions in the course of playing the games and making them accessible to themselves, and they're innovating all the time. So we're really excited about it.
Wow. This is shaping up to be a real interesting event. And I should also mention that there is a strong FIRST robotics community here in the DC area, and the FIRST Lego League for the younger folks. And so there might well be some FIRST robotics folks there at a table. Those people gather together on an email list called DC Robotics that is sponsored by a company in Silver Spring, Anthrotronics, whose the founder of that company, Corey Lathan, was named Maryland Inventor of the Year. So she walks the walk and talks the talk on this invention stuff. She's got 2 graduate degrees from MIT. The DC area is a pretty interesting metropolitan area in terms of ideas. We're falling a little bit behind some of the other cities, like backwaters, like New York City. They've been organizing themselves better than we are. So it's time we got off our rear ends and did some interesting stuff here, right here in the nation's capital.
Right, and this is a good way to start that movement. It's especially exciting to me because this event is going to be to rest on, or to have at its center, the disability community. And I think it's important for the maker community to recognize that that disabilities, and this is not a negative thing, that disabilities are central to the process of innovation. That the disabilities come first, really. You can take that all the way back to language. And the imaginary clearing in the forest. And who do you think came up with language? Was it the people who were sitting around the fire happily, or was it the people who were out in the woods, needing to get access to the community? So it's the people at the fringes who come up with innovations. And again, that's not meant to be a negative thing. It's just to say that the goal here is to push consciousness forward, to become more and more conscious of the process of innovation and how it happens. That's something that we recognize in the disability community, and and are happy that the maker community has come around to the point where they are willing to put the disability community at the center of this event. That's a great thing. We're really excited about it.
I have to say, I totally agree with you. One of the most inspiring of all inventors that I know of is Louis Braille, who invented Braille for his own needs, but has opened up a world of understanding for millions of people worldwide. And Alexander Graham Bell. We've got some historical examples that are very poignant about people working on solutions for disabilities that ended up affecting the course of civilization.
Absolutely. Albert Einstein, right? Stephen Hawking, all examples of people who have disabilities. And that's why we're really eager to have people from Google and Apple and Microsoft come in, because there's so many people in the computer community who have gray area disabilities. Especially younger folks these days are quicker to recognize and use language like autism and Asperger's, and older folks can recognize the facts but might not be self-identified or as comfortable with it. So this is an opportunity for people to self-identify, or for people to get behind the disability movement and make things happen. So we really appreciate the energy.
Patrick, I got to thank you, and I got to thank all the other folks in your division. When I first broached this idea with you, when we started talking, we quickly realized that it was possible, but it was only possible because of the institutional values that your library has. and that's something to be commended. Hey,
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing you there, November
oh,
17th. There's 17th and 18th, right?
yes, 17th from 10 to 3, and the 18th Sunday from 1:30 to 4:30.
Great. We'll see y'all there.
Okay, see you then.